Hello, and welcome aboard WhalePod to another episode of Pokemon Scarlet. This is a particularly special episode, not just because we are starting the actual catching the sub-legendaries portion of the sub-legendary subplot, but also because this is going to be the last episode uploaded before I go on a one-week hiatus. Back at the start of this week, the day after Christmas, December 26th, my grandmother passed away. And as such, I will be traveling up to the Seattle area where I am from and where she still lived up until the time of her passing to help my older brother, two of my aunts, two of my cousins, and one of my uncles in helping to go through all the belongings she had built up in her house over 61 years of living in the exact same house. Now, with that in mind, I will not be having uploads between the dates of January 1st and January 7th for sure. However, depending on how long things take, that could last 2 or maybe even 3 weeks. So for sure, no uploads between January 1st and January 7th, but it could be as long as between no uploads between January 1st and January 21st. Now, with that heavy business out of the way, as always, I am your Captain Whale, and you may be wondering where Meowscarada's been in the past couple episodes, as when we have popped open our menu, we have seen Toadscruel taking up her slot in the party. Well, let's just say our starter has been roiding herself up something fierce and is level 97, as you can tell at the top right corner of the screen. As while I was going through the Academy Ace tournament over and over again, grinding for money, Meowscarada was the only member of the original squad on the team, and instead I was taking advantage of the powers of the Paradox Pokemon and bringing along a Great Crater-sourced Great Tusk, the Edgy Boy Angry Koraidon, Fluttermane, and Roaring Moon, all of which, except for Edgy Boy, are a level 90 plus. Oh, also our Ride Koraidon was along for the ride as well, and he is a level 94 or level 95, because I ended up battling with him more than this boy here. The Edgy Koraidon also did take the backseat once we brought Toadscruel into the party, to get it leveled up to where I wanted it for taking on the Pokemon of Ruin. Now, speaking of the Pokemon of Ruin, we are currently parked right outside the Grass Wither Shrine, and we have 8 stakes left to pull in order to release the Pokemon trapped within. So, the first one is in South Province Area 5, literally right above where the shrine entrance is. So, let's go ahead and yank it right out of the ground. There's an ominous black stake driven into the ground. Will you pull out the stake? Yes, we will, and then we'll cook it up nice and good. When you pulled out the stake, it crumbled and vanished. 1 down, 7 to go. We will be back when we have found our next stake location. And we are back at a second stake location, and man, these Gimmighoul respawn fast because I literally just picked you up about half an hour ago. There's an ominous black stake driven into the ground. Will we pull out the stake? Yes, we will. And no, I have not saved and quit out and reloaded the software since then. That Gimmighoul has just come back since I picked it up previously. When we pull out the stake, it crumbled and vanished. And now we are gonna vanish until we find another stake. And we're back, so that means we've found another stake. There's an ominous black stake driven into the ground. Will you pull out the stake? Yes, I think I shall. When we pulled out the stake, it crumbled and vanished. They must have overcooked these steaks if they're just crumbling like that. No well-done steaks in this house. Now, we will be back when we find another one. All right, we found the fourth stake. This will be the halfway mark in our journey to free this legendary Pokemon from the tyranny of overcooked beef. There's an ominous black stake driven into the ground. I mean, they're even black in color. That means they're all burnt and charred and yucky. Gotta throw them out. When he pulled out the stake, it crumbled and vanished. Once again, the fact that it's crumbling means that stake has been charred into ash and is no longer edible. Now we will be back when we have found number 5. And we are back at stake number 5. Our quest to free this legend from the tyranny of overcooked beef is nearing its end. There's an ominous black stake driven into the ground. Will you pull out the stake? Of course, and as always, it's going to crumble to dust. Now, I do believe the last 3 stakes are all going to be in the more mountainous areas around here. So, we'll be back when we found the first ones amid all the mesas and hoodoos. And now, atop a mesa overlooking the Mesagoza East Gate here, we find stake number 6. There's an ominous-looking black stake driven into the ground. Will you pull out the stake? Of course. And as usual, who would have guessed, it crumbled to dust. Now, only 2 left to go. We'll be back once we've found stake number 7. On the very edge of East Province Area 1, overlooking the majestic and craggy arid landscape of the South Province's easternmost expanses, we find stake number 7. There's an ominous black stake driven into the ground. Will we pull out the stake? Of course, it's a crime against meat. Look at that, it crumbled to dust. Makes sense when it's been out here just cooking for over 100 years. Now we'll be back at our final stake location. So we will crumble away ourselves and see you then. And now here at a rocky uprising looking over the vastness of the artisan sun florist, we find the 8th and final stake. Let's let the 8 cows that died to make these 8 stakes finally be at rest as we finally get rid of this crime against beef. There's an ominous black stake driven into the ground. Will you pull out the stake? Yes, we will. When you pulled the stake, it crumbled and vanished. We heard a mysterious cry coming from the shrine. And we will be back when we are investigating the shrine. And we are back at the shrine. It has noticeably lost all the bindings over the entryway here. Let's throw down a hard save here. Just in case we end up being too much for this boy. A faint sound is coming from within the shrine. Will you touch the shrine? We're gonna make like Patrick Star and touch. Rattle, rattle, rumble, 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 rumble. Kerbang! And here is our snail made from wood planks used for riding on. I'm just wondering, does Spore count as a powder move? Are we even going to be able to Spore this thing? I guess we'll find out. We'll also find out if Gigaton Hammer is going to be too much for weakening this boy. Okay, definitely not going to be too much. Oh, it survived. Survived that Gigaton Hammer just swimmingly. Metal Claw gonna be too much now? Nope. I believe that does always half of your current HP. Now, the moment of truth. Does Spore count as a powder move? Let's go ahead and also put our plan into effect and get ourselves our Dragon Mushroom. And we're now eating that Power Whip like nobody's business. Spore indeed does count as a powder move, now we know. Immediately back out to the Tinkaton. Tinkaton will eat the Power Whip just as easily as a Toedscruel would, because we're still packing the Thunder Wave. Now, this is the best we're gonna do. We have Paralysis and we are in the red. I mean, I could train up something like a Scyther or a Scissor that can learn False Swipe and whittle it down with that, but I already had to train up the Toedscruel and that caused a bit of a production delay as is, so we're gonna keep pressing forward. It's been long enough we can open with a timer ball here. Ah, so close. We're gonna give it 5 Pokeballs. If we don't catch it here in the first 5 Pokeballs, we will cut to when we actually get it. That is 2. And nope, not attack it. We don't want to take it down. Two Wiggles and a Breakout again for ball number 3. Or 5 if your name is King Arthur. That one's for you, Aaron. You better watch this episode. Ball number 4. A 1 Wiggle. Yes, use that Ruination and guaranteed leave me alive there. Oh, whoa there. Two Wiggles before the Breakout. And with that, because 5 is right out, we will be back when we catch this thing. And we got a crit capture in a Luxury Ball. So, that is 1 down on the Pokemon of Ruin. Wo-Chien, the ruinous Pokemon, Dark and Grass. It is 4 feet 11 inches tall and weighs 163.6 pounds. The grudge of a person punished for writing the king's evil deeds upon wooden tablets has clad itself in dead leaves to become a Pokemon. Would we like to give a Woe there a nickname? No, we won't. And we're gonna send him to the boxes. Wo-Chien has been sent to your boxes. And goes right next to Golden Go, making Wo-Chien National Dex number 1001. Now, with that, I do thank you all for watching WhalePod. Do remember to smack those like and subscribe buttons if you have not done so already, with a super effective left click. And do remember that comments are always welcome down below. With that said, I hope you all are having fantastic days, WhalePod. Stay cool, stay classy, and most importantly, stay healthy. But until I return, this is Captain Whale, signing off.